St. Peter used. And Peter was the first come and last did go. The pilot of the Galilean lake, right? He was the first disciple. So we give him the right to say, peace be with you.
I didn't know that.
It's sort of a reflector. You know, it's like the, in the fronton, you know, I'm trying to think of the name of the sport.
Highlight. Highlight.
Yeah, right. You catch the ball and you throw it. The fronton is the Spanish arena when the bullfight ring isn't around. They just love it. And in Latin America, it's a major sport. There's all kinds of betting done on the teams and so forth.
Are we talking about highlight?
Are
we talking about highlight?
Yes, highlight. That's it. Yes. 2 words. High, ally. Familiar with it?
I've heard of it.
Well, you have a sort of a scoop-shaped device that the player wears on his hand like a baseball mitt, and he uses it to catch a ball, and he has to hold it just right to slow the speed down so it stays. And then he immediately turns it, he throws it to a teammate who picks it up and tosses it to another. It's like basketball with a moving ball. It's a very high-speed thing. And if you happen to get hit by one of those balls, you're going to be out of the game for a while. Maybe a month.
Wow.
Maybe forever. The thing
Faster than baseball? Traveling. Is it faster than throwing a baseball?
Yeah. So you see this thing, slow it down and throw it back.
Those things that they use for dogs with the...
Oh, right, right.
And
Well,
you just stop it
baseball
right there.
travels
Right.
about 90 miles an hour.
You can throw it
Yeah.
like
Now, how
5
fast is the
times
highlight
farther than
ball?
you normally could with your arm. It's kind of
No,
like that,
see,
right? It's got the hook.
Oh, right,
See,
that swings
and
it,
then
right.
You guys-
goes around and over the top.
Okay.
I see it just brought in something quite interesting because we had a movie yesterday on the subject of the speed of a thrown baseball. You remember
I
that?
did not see that.
And with the improvement of measurement, we can now measure the speed at which the ball leaves the pitcher's hand. And we can measure that on the ability to return the thing as a hit. And we're approaching about 100 miles an hour. It's been going up. We have movies going back to black and white, that is, that shows 70 as the fastest ball that was thrown in 1902. But in 2012, the fastest was 98.6. In other words, we've closed that gap, but it hasn't improved much since then.
Wow.
Why 100? It's a nice round number, but that's all.
It's some kind of terminal velocity.
Yeah. So you see, one of the advantages of this so-called writer's workshop is that each of us has something to contribute that is unique. Your life is a continuum from the instant you made the first noise up until today. It's all in there somewhere. You may not know where it is, but all that stuff is responsible for what you are today. And that goes for you and you and you. So when we have someone here explaining what the words meant, it's going to be different. And probably as good as it can be for each of us as a speaker. And that's the most important thing. We all wonder, what is life all about? What's life for? I'm acutely aware of this because you lost a grandmother, you lost a mother, I lost a wife who'd been around a long time. So what's the life worth? Well, it's worth whatever it was at the last moment. That's the secret of life. There's no other secret. There are things that happen along the way, but nobody is going to duplicate exactly what Graham, Mom, or Dear did. So we end up looking towards us. And here comes William Cronon, my list of things that every educated person must have. And that has been the basis on which I have been leading, if that's the word, this thing called a writer's workshop. The more you put in, the more you have to take out. Because you're the one who's interpreting this stuff, no matter what. Now, what Cronon did so skillfully was nothing that hadn't been done already, but he got it all in one place that I find very, very useful. And he said, among other things, the first one is that people learn to listen and hear. That doesn't sound like anything very life-saving. We're all listening. You're listening right now, but what you're hearing is already tempered by your 30-plus years of hearing and your 65-plus years of hearing and so on. So if I ask you to replace what I just said, I'm not going to get back what I put in. And that is the important thing to me. I need to know what you're going to give me back. Because if I'm going to counsel you in one way or another, it's going to be based on that. And the only reason I have for counseling is that I've lived 60 years longer than you have and been exposed to a lot of things, including some of the garbage that I got from this guy over here. And what I've learned from these two people for less than a year. So nevertheless, you don't know those things. I do. I'm bringing that to my judgment. So we're off and running. And when we get the rest of this, now if the past is the prelude to the future, we're going to have Jerry there. That's Jerry female. We also have a Jerry male. And Jeff and I both have a Jerry gay.
Friend.
We
Yeah.
call him, yeah,
Yes.
Yacino I'm talking about.
Right.
I mean, you know the guy. The guy is a thoroughgoing wordsmith, and we depend on him for a lot of the words that he uses that aren't necessarily the words that we use. And all I know about you, Marcia, is that you have a 53-foot catch in your background someplace. We really have to talk about that. And you've got the Peace Corps in your background. We really have to talk about that. And I have to listen about it. I'm sincerely interested in what's going on over there. Now, were you arrived yesterday for our coffee clutch with Pat? She always wants to start out with a toast. And, you know, I've got a lot of toasts up my sleeve here. One of my favorites, just to put this on the wrong foot to start with, I always toast to my happiest years of my life spent in the arms of another man's wife. Right. My mother. Okay? I mean, now there's a thought for the day. But the one I toasted yesterday, in all sincerity, here is to all the people I hate. Hate? I need their input. I hope that they will tell me why I don't think they are good, rich, intelligent, I want to know, what is it that I don't like about you? I can't ask it that way, but I'll try to find out. You know, life is a matter of a big blank that you refill or fill as you go along. And what you fill it with is terribly important. What makes you great in your mind? What makes you just terrific? You're doing just what you'd like to do right now. Why is that? Don't answer. I'm not asking for an answer, but answer to yourself. Why do I really disagree with Mr. Donald Trump, for example?
Sorry about this, guys.
That's not mine.
It's so demanding
Hello?
and supersedes everything else.
Hello?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Hi, Baru.
Yeah.
I'm listening to a lecture right now. What are you doing?
No, we're listening to a lecture.
I'm sure we're listening to half of it anyway.
Depending on the length of the phone call.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Well, the basic question that I keep introducing
Who
to
is
this
here?
group is that in order to understand each other, we have to find out what we all hate. What are we not accepting? Do we all agree with the writer of The Turn of the Screw, for example, that it is possible for a person who is a governess to believe that a child may be captured by evil spirits? Do we believe that? I need to know that, because I don't believe that. Whatever it is the child captures is somebody else's spirit. That's what they learned somewhere. I do need to know that. Help me work with the child. So there's all this going on. And you know, the insidious thing, in the last month, we have started calling activities here clubs. And this time we have we don't call it a club, we have a natural walk club at 10:30 this morning. A natural work club. We have a classic movie club at 1:15. We have a jigsaw puzzle club at 6 o'clock tonight. We have an evening movie club at 6:15. Now, we've added group. Yesterday, we abandoned 2 clubs and they became groups. Now think of the difference between the two. A group is what we do here. There's just a bunch of people. A club is always a mechanism for excluding somebody. Now, what are you doing here? You don't belong to the writers' club. So you might well ask, what are the qualifications for admission? Maybe I don't like you. I don't want you here. Would it be a majority of the people attending to decide that you don't belong? It's a funny word. Your immediate thought is that, well, this is nothing. I'm with people I like. But you also might mean I'm not obliged to be with people I don't like. So that's not very good. Now here's Jerry, female, and she's a very useful person. Youthful and useful. Well, she's my mirror for current practice, although that's a bit of a stretch, in nursing care. She was a scrub nurse, and Jeff was the administrator of the Kaiser Hospital, so he knows.
Interference from the cell
And
phone?
this morning,
Interference from the cell phone?
I'm sorry,
Is there interference from the cell phone?
I can't hear.
Okay. Having the cell phone this so close to that.
Oh,
If you move away,
okay.
maybe it won't.
Thank you.
Just, I don't know, maybe.
That's a logical possibility. I know if I put this away from me, sometimes that helps. And you sit over there, and God knows what's in here that's interrupting.
yeah.
Technology.
See how
I'm
much
sorry.
we've learned already about each other?
Pardon?
See how much we've learned already about each other.
Well, all this is supposed to be helping, and it isn't right at
Right,
the
I
moment.
recognize that. I have a couple of very high sophisticated answers.
It's
to
not
those
over your
questions.
ears. Your headset is down here. You need to have it up over your ears.
Well, we have a tutorial now. This is supposed to be above my ears?
No, on your ears. It was down here. So now
It's-
you can turn that down if you put it
I
on your
can,
ears.
you're right.
I'm hearing feedback.
Yeah, that's because she's got it too loud because it wasn't on her ears. It was down here.
Okay.
Right, there you go. Up on your ears. Is it on her ears, Kevin? Can you see?
Yes, but I have to sit
Okay.
here and hold it.
Oh, no, you don't. Just a second. You should be able to have. This thing should adjust. Just a second.
Yeah.
Hold on, sweetie.
He wants to line the
There you
speaker
go.
up with the
How's that? Now you shouldn't have to hold it. It's perfect.
That's
Yeah.
much better.
All right.
And now it's becoming directional. You will hear Jerry better and me not quite as good.
So you'll have to say something.
I'm sitting here looking at you.
Which doesn't transpose into these earpieces. Okay, well, I'm sorry to be the interruption here. So go ahead, please.
Well, I'm not sure how far I should go. I planned to stop just before Eva takes over, but she is bringing in a guest speaker who is from India, not the Indian states of America, but India, who has been given probably a 15-minute period to tell us why we should be interested in him.
Well, he's coming to us as a volunteer, I'm told.
Yes, right. Well, I'm a volunteer. In a sense, we're all volunteers. Given the free choice, we probably wouldn't be here right now. We'd be out doing something else. So we're all here voluntarily. We could be down in the bistro, so-called, listening to something else or doing nothing, whatever. There will be a natural walk club in 5 minutes, starting down in the lobby. Now, I have no idea what qualifications a person would have to join or be denied admission to a natural walk club.
Teacher, professor, ever since I've known you, you and Mom have been very, very particular about the words you use. And you will go and discuss a word because it is either used correctly or incorrectly. And I think this ties to your comments earlier about Cronin's listening, because when you say something to me and I repeat it back to you, it'll be different.
Yeah.
So the word club is something different. You look at the word clatch, So, a coffee klatch.
Yeah.
Well, that word also has changed. Now it's book clubs are using it. So the words are changing, which means that we have to constantly redefine the word or accept the new terminology.
Yes.
And Mom used to say,
Yes.
Winston tastes good like a cigarette should. And it drove her nuts because Winston tastes good like a cigarette should. Like is a conjunction. Well, no more. Now like is like, what do we do today? Like, would it be nice to go to the beach? It's not even used as a conjunction. It's like or
Yeah.
So the words, and you're right about club. What it used to mean is not what it's mean now. And I think a culture will ultimately die if the language that is used is not updated and people don't understand the words. That's the Tower of Babel.
Yeah.
Okay, so it says club is an association or organization dedicated to a particular interest or activity. So, so it's just dedicated for that one activity.
Yeah.
And then a group is defined as a number of people or things that are located close together or are considered or classed together. So it's just,
Yeah. Well, it's interesting here. The word club is a license to exclude. We can say that Marcia is not interested in writing. So why is she cluttering up the table here?
Well, I think the point is that the definition is no longer accepted as the first definition, the one that you know. That's no longer.
Oh, yeah.
But Bill Watterson understood, the guy who did Calvin and Hobbes, the cartoon Calvin and Hobbes, because Calvin and Hobbes had a no girls allowed club.
Yeah.
They excluded girls, so he got the right definition.
Yeah.
But
That's right.
it's just not the same definition anymore that's being accepted. It's strange.
so they're saying it's for a particular purpose, that club. So if you aren't going for that purpose, then you shouldn't be going.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
And isn't that the same as exclusion?
Yeah.
Could be very similar.
Oh, sure. I mean, women were excluded from the Army for a long time. And as of yesterday, transvestites are now excluded from the Army. Even if they're willing to volunteer and lose their lives for the country, they're not welcome. I mean,
Not even in a administrative role or a non-military
Well,
role.
the issue was brought up by our so-called President Trump, who said that transvestites have no place in our armed service, where the goal in every case is victory, and everything that's going to slow that victory down should be excluded. How does he know?
Well, I think that he's got to go one step further, because I think that left-handed people should not be part of the military. Think
Okay,
about that.
That's a possibility. That's the sort of thing that a club can do. The bylaws say no left-handed people need apply.
That's right.
Right. I always think of Samuel Johnson, who was the writer of the first dictionary in the English language. And it's a very clever piece of work. He wrote this in the tail end of the 17th century. And an illustration that he gleefully gave for a definition stemmed from the fact that he did not believe in taking baths. And here was a guy who ate everything that he had gotten from, and he still didn't take baths. And at a party that he attended, the woman next to him leaned towards him and said, "Dr. Johnson, you smell." And he turned right back. He said, "Madam, you smell. I stink." Okay. The difference between the doer and the possessor, you see, one is an adjective, the other is a verb.
Yeah.
Well, we are all suffering from this right now. A transvestite who wants to join the army in Afghanistan is willing to face death to defend her country's interest, or his.
Okay, first of all, they're not calling it transvestite, they're calling it transgender. Now,
Yeah, well, that's right. Oh, sure, we're down to that sort of thing.
so that's a word that's changed. You know,
Yeah.
It's not.
It's not a club, but you can decide whether the army is a club or not.
But isn't a transgender someone who has gone through an operation? Can you be a transgender person? I don't know the answer. Can you be transgender by just deciding that you're going to be a woman or a man?
You can go on your internet, maybe.
Yeah, what is transgender?
Maybe Kevin will take a look at that.
Because I always thought it meant that you went under the knife and
Yeah,
converted your birth.
right.
Defect
Whatever it says
to-
on your
I'm
birth
worried about
certificate.
what's coming next.
It's just denoting or relating to a person whose sense of personal identity and gender does not correspond with their birth sex.
Yeah,
Wow.
Does not correspond with.
Yeah.
see, it's not
Wow.
even.
So
a-
they identify
it's not
as
even
the
an
opposite
operation. It's a
sex.
personal viewpoint,
Hmm.
which we recognize has a psychological background. I mean, these are not people who are doing it just to get out of service.
Hmm.
So we live in a very interesting world.
It just feels like he's picking on a defenseless group of people. That he's singling out these people for no other reason that makes him feel more powerful, I guess.
Touche.
Yeah. That'll do, for
Touche.
sure. Speaking from that platform, they feel that they have a right to be listened to, something like that. Yeah. Well, where's Dorothy this morning? Where's Albert this
Yeah,
morning?
and Sean?
Huh?
Sean, your new. Maybe they forgot.
Right.
What time is it? It's 10:33.
Yeah. See, theoretically, I've done my bit at 3:30, at 10:30. Now I'm ready for Eva to come in. And I talked with her. I said, I want you to deal with something right away.